Good afternoon, everyone. Recorded by Richter here, back with a brand new segment for you. This time I am going to be reviewing a dear friend of mine, and that is E-Man Bates. Not only is he one of my best friends, he's also my business partner with Beats, Brews, and Points of View podcast, and I am very proud of him as he has written a story that made the cover of the Metro Times magazine in Detroit. And for context, Metro Times is a free publication that has been around. If you're a Detroiter or even in anywhere in the Metro Detroit area, you've seen this. It's been around our whole lives. It's something I've been reading my entire life. Local businesses around the area get stacks of them and they give them out for free. And I'm so proud of E-Man for making this cover. The story that he wrote is called Black Hollywood, Detroit's Influence on the Resurgence of Blaxploitation Films. And I think he did such a wonderful job with this piece. Before I get to it, I kind of want to give some context behind E-Man, who he is, and our relationship and all of that good stuff. So E-Man, when I met him in 2017, he had already been really into the beer world. He was really into brewing beer, and he was also into journalism. And he had this website called Beats and Brews where he was doing different interviews with beer masters and stuff like that. And he was writing pieces on it because he went to school for journalism. And I think he's going back to school now, actually, to finish up some schooling that he needed to get. And so him and I have a mutual friend, C-Bone, Corey Bujea, and he, around 2017, he kept telling me, like, you need to meet this guy, E-Man, he's a good friend of mine, and I feel like you guys would really hit it off. You guys are into the same kind of music, you're into the same kind of, nerdy stuff. And I was like, all right. So Corey used to have these awesome parties, and that's where I ended up meeting E-Man, and we did hit it off. We became fast friends. I had just recently graduated from Specs Howard. I was going to school for digital media arts, and I got my degree there. And after I graduated, I started working for this video production company in Detroit, but it was a free company, and it was an unpaid internship. So, after doing it a while, I kind of started to develop the thoughts of like, well, if I'm going to work for free, I'm going to start my own company and do my own thing. And so I had wanted to start a podcast to talk about music for a long time because that's my biggest passion. And E-Man kind of helped light the fire under it. He called me one day and was like, I'm super game to go down that journey with you and start this business with you. And so we did. He already had Beats and Brews as an established website. And so we thought it to be a good idea to kind of play off of that name for the podcast. And so on the phone, we shopped around some ideas, and we eventually landed on the Beats, Brews, and Points of View podcast. And so the gist of our thing was to every episode have a different Michigan brewed beer and then chop it up about music for about an hour. We would do some episodes solo with just him and I talking about different music related things of the week, or we would have on local musicians. And we've interviewed tons of, like, over 100 probably, local musicians, business owners. We even interviewed the disgraced mayor of Ypsilanti once. And we've hosted some shows together, some music shows and stuff like that. So, and we even did, we got some sponsors along the way. Shout out to Devin and Eric at Arctic Circle Brewing. They were our sponsor for a while, and we were running a music karaoke night out at their brewery for a little bit too. But E-Man has always had journalistic integrity and has always wanted to continue exploring that, as well as the podcast. And I've had other business ideas, and that's why I started Recorded by Richter. So aside from us doing this podcast together, which we started in 2018, we've also now kind of branched out to be able to do stuff that we want to do solo too. So E-Man, if you don't already follow him on social media and stuff, has really been killing it lately doing photography work for different music festivals, and also getting back into writing. He has a neighbor named Ashley who runs Runner Magazine in Detroit, and she started giving him work, and it really kind of lit the fire back under him as far as journalism goes. And so he's really been back in that world as well. And for context on this article, before I get into what it's about, I thought it was such a cool full circle moment because, and E-Man has the receipts to prove it. I'll see if I can find it and post it into the video segment. But in 2015, he wrote an email to Metro Times telling him that he was a budding journalism student and thought he'd be a great fit for their company and wanted to write for them. Now fast forward a decade later, and his story made the cover of the Metro Times magazine, and I just couldn't be happier for him, prouder of him. He's so awesome at what he does. He's an amazing friend as well. This man has literally bailed me out of jail in a snowstorm before. So yeah, he's like the best friend you could ever ask for. That's not a BS story. But anyways, Black Hollywood, Detroit's influence on the resurgence of blaxploitation films. E-Man wrote this article, and basically the gist of it is talking about Tubi Town, which is what Detroit has been dubbed. And if you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, Tubi is a video streaming app, much like Netflix or Amazon or Hulu, any of those, only it's free. And it has a lot of great big stuff on there and also some more low budget stuff. But the thing that is awesome about it is a lot of it's being filmed in Detroit, and a lot of it is giving shine to black creatives, black filmmakers, black actors, and a lot of that is happening right here in Detroit. And so E-Man talks about not only that, but he compares it to the blaxploitation films of the 70s, Superfly, Shaft, Dolomite, films like that, where it was a time in Hollywood where black actors, black writers, black crew members weren't getting any work. And so they kind of carved their own lane out in more low budget style films, but stuff that were very near and dear to the hearts of black Americans around the country. And you know, Superfly is one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. It's Curtis Mayfield is such a genius musician, and he did such an awesome job with that. And E-Man's aunt was in that film, and so he was able to get her perspective for this article and interview her and talk about what it was like around those times. And something that I love E-Man so much for that he did in this article is not only did he interview people that are writing these movies that are being put on Tubi, not Tubi movies, but they just land on that app, you know, they can go other places too and get shopped around, but Tubi gives out better percentage and royalty rates, so a lot of people go try to get their stuff there. But he interviewed lighting people, makeup artists, set design, you know, clothing design, and that just speaks to the type of person that E-Man is, because that's important, you know, to interview those people that don't get a shine like that often and you don't hear from as much in the world of filmmaking is really cool, man. I'm really happy that he did that, and I learned a lot of stuff in here. You know, a lot of people might have thought that blaxploitation films had just a negative connotation and that it wasn't a point of pride, like I learned in this article that E-Man wrote. And so I'm just really happy for him. I also really wanted to make sure to do this because I think print media is so awesome. I love print. I love physical copies of art, and I think that the internet and the way that we consume art now is unsustainable. I think that people are going to reach a level of burnout if it hasn't happened right now, and I think that you're going to start to see a little bit of a rise of more things in print, a little bit more niche areas of writing and music making. And you know, I love to buy vinyl and stuff like that, so I love print and I love having a copy of this. So if anyone needs a copy that knows me, I do have some extras. I was able to find some at a local grocery store around here, so I'm really happy to have that. As far as the podcast goes, E and I we don't do it as often as we used to. We used to stick to a once a week, every week schedule. And that was hard for us because both of us, we have to work full time outside of doing the stuff that we love creatively, because it's hard to pay the bills off just freelance work and doing the podcast. So, we don't do it as often, but we just put out our 150th episode with special guest Na Bonsai. They were an incredible guest. They have a new album out called Obsidian Bloom that's outstanding. But E and I, we just do it for the love. We have really, I think, done awesome things for local musicians. We try, because we're fans, man. We're fans of art, and so anything that we can do to amplify the voices of the areas that we live in it means the world to me. Since I've started this, I've been sent books from people that I did reviews on. I've had so many amazing conversations because of the things that we've done. We've interviewed people like Nick Speed, who's a legend in Detroit, Ill Will, who's a legendary battle rapper. We've interviewed so many awesome people along the way, and we have more stuff to come. It may only be, every month or two that we get an episode together, but trust me, we're working, and we're going to be, helping each other or amplify each other on our solo journeys too. So that's where I'm at with it. Super proud of E-Man. I highly recommend going to try to find this. I highly recommend checking out E-Man's music. He also makes music. He has 2 albums out that you can go check out. Just really proud of you, dude. Congratulations on the cover of Metro Times. And we will catch you guys more. I do have more podcast stuff coming too, because we have all kinds of footage and interviews from our time in Pittsburgh. So I'm adjusting to working a new full-time job, so I will get them out as soon as I can, but they are coming. So that's what we got for you guys. As you can see, it's October now. I love Halloween, so I've got some Halloween decor in the shot. And, you can check out my review on the NxWorries concert, my review on the movie Weapons, all kinds of new stuff going. I want to make a whole piece on revolutionary music, since we're living in some turbulent times. And we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.